This is the best way to grind Sloth info in depth spelunking. The notebook is a must-have item. It'll help you get info faster, and you can get the notebook by gaining full info on any 5 entities. And then I use the lumberjack cap for movement speed and ore reading on the sloth, and then providence for ore reading on the sloth and the nearest task. Both of these 2 items, though, they will require you to go to the black market, which is locked to floor 30. If you don't have those, then I guess you could use running shoes and then radio pack to find task, or you could also use the tracker. And also the fastest way is to do this solo, so you're going to want to make yourself a private server. Now first off, you're just going to want to do floor 1 as normally. And then once you hit floor 2, you are going to do 3 tasks, and then you are going to set a 197-second timer, and you are just going to sit and stay alive. If you have drone or anything other than warden, you're going to have to move around to avoid them, but if you have warden, you can just leave your computer for the amount of time. And this is because Sloth spawns a little differently in solo than he does in co-op. Now in co-op, if someone goes a certain amount of floors without doing a task, then Sloth will spawn. However, in solo, if 180 plus floor number times 8.5 seconds pass without completing a task, Sloth will spawn on the next floor. And usually when the lights go out on this floor, then that's the cue that Sloth will spawn on the next floor. However, I usually just set a 197-second timer myself after completing the 3rd task. If you do get task sonar on one of your floors through upgrade terminals, please take it. It will save you so much time. Now, if you waited the sufficient amount of time, you will be on Sloth's floor. Now, he doesn't actually come out until you do a task, so what I like to do is find an area where there are 2 tasks very, very close to each other. And that's because Lumberjack's cap doesn't actually show where he is on the first completion of a task because he isn't actually spawned in yet. So once you do the 2nd task, you'll actually know where he is at that point. And what you're going to want to do at this point is just try to do all your tasks while completely avoiding Sloth the entire floor. And when your time runs out with the lumberjack cap, or if you can't find the cap, then what I'll do is I'll just pop Providence so I can find him, and I can also find the nearest task if I can't find it myself. The lumberjack cap and Providence, in my opinion, is the best setup you can have for doing the Sloth Horns quest. Never come into contact with Sloth, because once you do, you are not getting out. You will die at that point, especially if you're closer to the end of the floor. But once you beat that floor, you will get a good amount of progress, and what you can do at that point is you can just go ahead and die to the next entity on the next floor and just repeat the process.